friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today is a very long overdue video where I'm going to show a variety of gifts. Some of them were birthday, Christmas gifts. Some of them were just random gifts from really good viewers and friends on Escape to Gaming. And then I'll lastly show some pickups and things that I've kind of bought over the months and what have you. So it's kind of hard to know where to start, but I'll just kind of start with what's in front of me. My good friend Vinny in Idaho Falls, Idaho, just recently sent me a really cool PS4 game by surprise. He knows that I like a lot of the Yakuza type games, Sleeping Dogs, and martial arts and things that are based on, martial arts in the Orient. So he sent me this game, Judgment. I don't know too much about it. I did watch a couple of reviews on it. It looks quite good. In fact, Carrot at ACG had done a pretty good review of this. So this looks really good. Looks like it's one of the better of the Yakuza series by Sega. So thank you, Vinny, for this. This is very cool. I'm anxious to try this out. He told me not to overlook that one. It's a good one. I think he recently played the Cyberpunk 2077 game, and he thought that it would be something that I would enjoy. So he really surprised me by giving me this big, thick strategy guide for Cyberpunk 2077. You could probably knock someone out with this thing. It's so heavy, but this looks like a really extensive guide, probably one of the last of the really good guides before strategy guides have kind of gone the way of the well, they're just gone. You can't get too many of them. There's a couple of companies that still make them, and smaller mom and pop companies are producing them now. I'll show one of those in a little bit, but thank you, Vinny, for this. This is now I just need the game. He offered to give me a digital code for the game, but this is when I want to get a physical copy of the game. Probably the PlayStation 4 version performs a little bit better on the PS4 Pro than it does on the Xbox One X, according to Digital Foundry. So I'm going to probably look for a PS4 copy of that soon. Next, my good friend Justin in Tennessee. He recently came down quite sick too, just like I have. So he's been kind of under the weather, but he's been a really big supporter of Escape to Gaming and been a good friend. We've stayed in touch through text, and he's asked me questions about games, and he's tried a lot of the games that I've suggested and mentioned in quite a few of my videos. And he knew that I've missed out on a couple games this year, and one that's a big one that I'm very anxious to play, and that's Far Cry 6. So thank you, Justin, for this. This is very cool. I'm really anxious to play this. Comes with a little bit of DLC. I went out immediately and bought the season pass for this, which you get all of the other things with Voss, the other missions, and Pagan Men. There's like a variety of missions, and from Far Cry 5 as well. So I'm anxious to try this one out. And I'll show you something that correlates with this in a little bit. He knows I've been going after, trying to get a lot more of the remaining PS2 and original Xbox games I've been kind of looking for. And where he knows I like Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, he thought I might enjoy the Staff of Kings, and he found me a complete Staff of Kings game where I found the game, but it was missing the manual. So this one comes with a wonderful manual, very clean disc. He always finds me very clean games, which I really appreciate. Thank you very much, Justin, for this. Now I know this isn't as well received as the Emperor's Tomb, but it still looks like a great game. I really like the Indiana Jones films. I've seen all of them opening day at the theater. So it's kind of a special thing to have this in my collection. Another one I've been going after, they made the Vikings game on the Xbox 360. Yeah, I think this was Creative Assembly that did this. Yeah, it is. And that's Spartan Total Warrior. This is another original Xbox game that I've wanted for some time. He saw that I sent him a copy of my list of a few kind of remaining games I'm going after if I can find them. I used to see this all the time, and then all of a sudden I stopped seeing it at my retro store. So he found me a clean copy of this, complete. He knows that I had, since some of the new remastered games came out on the PlayStation 4, I made the huge mistake of immediately, oh good, I don't need these old Xbox 360 variations of them anymore, and I quickly gave them or sold them, a lot of them. So I'm trying to get them back, because at least these Xbox 360 ones I know I can play offline. If, God forbid, something happens down the road and all my PS4 library can't be played for whatever ungodly reason, at least I can play these. So he found me a clean copy of BioShock Infinite, which I had pre-ordered long before it came out, loved it, and even got the hardbound strategy guide, which I recently gave to my good friend Jeremy, because now I've got the guide for the remastered ones. It covers all 3 BioShock 1, 2, and 3 games. So thank you very much for this, Justin. This is a great game. This is really the only game I've played in the entire trilogy, and really loved this game. And he also found me, even though I've got the remastered one in a digital format for the PS4, he found me a really clean copy of Assassin's Creed Road for the Xbox 360. So, and I've just recently found a guide for this as well, which I'll show. So thank you, Justin, for those. That's a huge, wonderful gifts. Really exciting finally to have those in my collection. Some of those are games I've never played. Some of those are games that I've wanted to play and check out, and now I'll be able to do that thanks to very generous gifts from my good friend Justin. Friend of mine, Kyle, who's been watching the show more recently over the last several months, he sent a slew of games in. He has a huge game collection, had a lot of duplicates and extras, and then plus when he goes out game shopping, he says, hey, Dean, I'll see if I can pick you up a few games I saw on your list. So he found me some really nice games. Thank you, Kyle, for these. I really appreciate this. He's found me finally, I've been looking for this for some time to complete my Tomb Raider collection. He sent me Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation for the PlayStation 1. These are great games. I've only played Tomb Raider 1 and 2. I haven't played The Last Revelation. I haven't played Tomb Raider 3 and some of these other ones. This one looks really good, called N-Gen Racing. Looks like an aerial combat type deal or a racing game based on jets, which looks really good. There's a lot of really cool racing games, and there's a lot of great games on the PlayStation 1. I mean, there's no end of it. Just when you think you've seen them all and played them all, there'll be another several dozen that'll pop up that you've never seen. Here's another one that looks really intriguing called Killer Loop, which I've never even heard of this one. I don't know if it's some kind of a cyber type punk city. Tear through brilliantly rendered futuristic environments, Moscow, Hawaii, Mars, and Needle Rock. Racing upside down or sideways, multi-dimensional tracks that include, I'm having a hard time reading this because my eyes are not as good. I actually have a magnifying glass now. I can read the fine print of the backs of some of these games. Anyway, it looks like a futuristic racing game on the PlayStation 1. I love racing games, especially anything futuristic or sci-fi related. So thank you, Kyle, for these. They look really cool. This is what I've been going after for some time. You found me a really clean copy of this. This is getting hard to find now by THQ, and that's World of Outlaws Sprint Cars on the Xbox 360. This looks like a really good, kind of a down grassroots dirt track, oval track racing, where you can really get sideways the whole way around the track, and my kind of racing. So when I had my Challenger, we have some big traffic circles around here. I used to drift the Challenger around the traffic circles. It was really fun getting sideways coming out of those traffic circles. So it's like the next best thing, but on dirt, it's a lot easier to do that than it is on pavement. With brand new Pirelli P0s, actually were a lot grippier than the Goodyears I used to have. So you got to like put your foot into it a little bit more to break it loose. But well, I mean, what would a complete racing game collection be without Dean Thompson Carnage, DT Carnage? I've never even heard of this, but it looks very cool. Smash, crash, and destroy. It looks really neat. It has a Lamborghini, I guess, a Lamborghini Gallardo on the front cover. Wasn't quite sure. I had to look at the headlights a second time there to make sure, but this looks really good, Kyle. I'm anxious to try this one out, actually. And here is another one which I've never heard of before. Presents Motor Mayhem. Now this looks like kind of a Twisted Metal game on the PlayStation 2. I had never even seen this. I love car combat games. I'm trying to collect every one that I can, and this looks like a really good one. So thank you, Kyle, very much for this. Again, these games are all complete, with the manuals, the disc, and everything. They sent me some really good ones. Another good one, this I have seen, called Power Drome. Kind of another futuristic, kind of like Red Out and a lot of those other kind of anti-grav type racing games. It looks really cool. So thank you, Kyle, for this. Another great PlayStation 2 game for my collection. This, I like the MotoGP series, and he sent me MotoGP 2 for the PlayStation 2. Really good, road racing bike games, which I'm all about. Another great one, which looks really cool, Super Pickups. And I'm real big on NASCAR pickup racing, so this is very, very welcome in my collection. Thank you, Kyle, for this. These are really good. You just surprised me with a lot of these, and you thought that I would like them, and I'm really appreciative that you sent them. He knew I wanted this one. Now, I've heard that this variation of the PlayStation 2 is quite different from the one that's on the 360, but there's a Quantum of Solace that was kind of a multi-platform game on the PlayStation 2, but also on the 360, and probably the PlayStation 3 as well, and that's the Quantum of Solace, one of my favorite Bond games. It really surprised me. I didn't think it would be that good. It's made by, well, I don't know about this one, but the one that I had played was made by, kind of like by Activision, or by the people that made the Call of Duty games. Even the HUD looks the same. The shooting feels very Call of Duty, Duty-like. The fonts, everything. So this one I've heard is different, so I'm quite anxious to play this, and I've been looking for this for some time. And the last one he sent here is MX 2002, another really good dirt bike game. Looks really good, exclusively featuring Ricky Carmichael, which is a really, well, he's older now, but he was a really big, motocross expert. So these look like great games. Kyle, thank you so much for these. You really outdid yourself on these. I mean, the last batch he sent was over the top. It's just really nice he's sent these. We've got my good friend Michael in New York has sent me some games over the years, and I'll show a few of those that we've sent in the past. He sent me Star Wars Racers Revenge. I believe this is a limited run game, which, as I said in my last video, I'm not real happy with limited run right now, but it doesn't mean I don't appreciate the games prior to this fiasco that's happened with them recently. But thank you very much, Michael, for this. And again, these are older gifts that I've already shown, I believe, quite a while ago. He also sent me, which I showed in a prior video, or another one a while back, Star Wars Knights of the Old, Star Wars Jedi Knights, Outcast, and Academy, which have been remastered. And I have these digitally, but it's nice to have it. Again, it's a physical variation of them, probably by limited run, I believe. Yep, it says limited run on the back. So he sent me a bunch of these Star Wars limited run games, and I really appreciate them. What else did he say? Oh, and then he ordered me. Apparently they had limited run, had a deal where they went through and they had some extras every now and then. Even though they kind of finished the run out, they go back through their archives, and they find that there's still boxes of a few remnants of games left, and so they offer them on sale. And so he got me a really good copy of Star Wars Republic Commando from limited run as well. Another great one for the Star Wars collection. He also sent me as a bonus gift, which I wasn't expecting. I think I paid him for the Republic Commando, I believe. Yeah, that one I pre-ordered, and he got it for me as he's all set up, and he's more in tune with the minute they get something, he can jump on there and order it to make sure he secures a copy. He sent me he said anyone that's a big lover of id the way you are needs to have a copy of Quake. So he sent me the remastered Quake game, which is from limited run, which I've got a digital copy of this, which is very cool. I've really enjoyed playing it. Something about going back to these really old, real fast-paced FPS games from id that are just fantastic. So leading up to the grand finale, one of my absolute favorite Star Wars games, which I've shown many times and talked about quite a bit. I haven't played it all the way through, but it's very enjoyable. It's one I need to go through, and I've recently found the strategy guide, well, several months ago, but for me it's recently. And that's Star Wars Bounty Hunter for the PlayStation 2. Now, I bought this years ago, and I'm happy to have this in my collection. I'm going to try to find a copy for the GameCube. That's one where the GameCube version is actually has better shadow rendering than the PlayStation 2 version, which is unusual. But he found me knowing that I like this, and this is when he said, Dean, I can order this if you want me to get you a copy of it. I said, oh yeah, no, I'd love to have that. So he found it from Limited Run. He got Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and it comes in this kind of like the old George Lucas inspired Star Wars games, or like action figures. It comes in like a little cardboard packet thing, you know, that you can hang. Hangs up at like a Toys R Us, let's say, and it's really cool. So I know I have a digital version of this. I could keep this factory sealed or preserve it or whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I'd be happy to open it. But I like the packaging on this particular one. I've got to find a place in my game room to hang this up. Thank you, Michael, for helping me to get these games. You know, it's unfortunate what's happened with Limited Run, and you know, there'll be people that'll say they'll boycott it, but then they'll secretly keep buying the games. I'm not. I won't do it. I'm a man of conviction. When I stand behind something, if I feel I'm standing behind a cause that's righteous and just, then I won't budge from that. And I've been that way my whole life. So they won't get any more money from me, which is, it's too bad. Now, if they come out and publicly apologize and make it right to the gal that they've wronged with a horrendous creature that basically fired her, I don't even know what to call this person other than creature, and I think that's being generous. But it's just sad that we live in a cancel culture age where someone can make a phone call or push a couple buttons and have someone removed from their job when they're good at their job and well liked. And it's just, again, it's tragic, all because of political views. That this person who had followed people on the left and the right equally, and didn't tweet anything personally that was of her opinion. Just by following these people, she was canceled. That's wrong, Limited Run. And if you don't make it right, you won't get any more of my money. So, I mean, I'm just assuming that they probably won't, because they haven't by now. They're not even responding to people's emails that are requesting having a refund for games that they've pre-ordered. So this is a company that's unethical. So yeah, I will never give them another dollar of my money. I'm just not interested. I'll happily keep the digital versions of those games and be happy with those. I don't need their faux trophies. Basically, it's just a box for the key, is all it is. It still probably has to be connected online to some variation. So it's the nature of games today, unfortunately. So let me take a quick little breather here, and I'll get on with the next batch. My good friend Steve has been a good friend of mine for, even though I've moved away from Sacramento, we've stayed in touch. And he's still collecting mostly hardware. He's going through his collection now and kind of streamlining it a bit. And he said, Dean, I'm going to be getting rid of a few things. Let me see that list again. I might have a couple games that you could put in your list, and the rest of them I'm probably going to sell off. And I said, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I understand. I mean, we've all had to streamline to a certain degree. So he sent me some games that he thought that I would like. One of the new games that came out recently was Evil West by that Wild Hog Studios, or whatever it's called. And they also had done the Shadow Warriors series, and I expressed an interest in it. So he said, Dean, here's a copy of Shadow Warriors for the Xbox One. I'd be happy to give it to you. I said, well, thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. So thank you, Steve, for this. He knew that I hadn't planned on getting the Rainbow Six Siege game, but he gave me a copy of it. Well, gave me a disc and put it in this empty case. He doesn't have the box for it, but he's got a copy of Rainbow Six Siege. He says that you can play it, maybe against bots, I guess, offline, which I had no idea. So thank you, Steve, for this. This is very cool. I'm anxious to try that. I love the Rainbow Six games and have quite a few of them in my original Xbox collection. And have a couple of the ones, Rainbow Six, 1 and 2 Vegas, I've got for the Xbox 360. Another game that he has factory sealed, which he never opened, but of course I'll open it. If I had a knife, I'd do it right here just to trigger people at the seal games. No offense, guys, but Dangerous Driving. This is one that I remember seeing, and maybe I do have this one. I think digitally I do have this. I just don't have a physical copy. I remember the day this came out, I think I did buy it digitally. And it's quite good. It's kind of like similar to the original Burnout games. made by, I believe, some of the same devs that had worked on the Burnout series. But anyway, he's got me a nice factory sealed copy of Dangerous Driving. Thank you, Steve, for that. He knew that I was looking for Saints Row 1, so he went out and I think he purchased this for me. Found me a clean, complete Saints Row 1 game with a black strategy, not strategy guide, but the manual and nice case, clean disc, everything. So now I've got Saints Row 1, 2, and I believe 3 in my collection now for the Xbox 360. Just got to get the strategy guides for the Saints Row games and I'll be all set. He finally, through a lot of trial and error, he got me the one disc and it was exactly the one I had and I was missing. He gave me a steel case, or maybe that's another one. Oh, yeah, the Star Wars Force Unleashed. This is one he had given me years ago, but it was missing one of the discs. He finally found the disc, so now I've got the correct disc for the game. So, and I had a basic vanilla copy of this as well. But it's nice to have it in a nice steel book. He knows I love Star Wars. Steve is a huge Star Wars fan, and so we equally love the series and have a lot of affection for it. Again, in the series of having the games and then making the huge mistake of getting rid of them, he gave me one of my favorite games of 2013, which I don't know if I did a review of this or not, but I did like the game quite a bit. I don't think I reviewed it, but that's the Tomb Raider game. Now I get the remastered PlayStation 4 one, which runs at 60 frames a second, but it's nice having the original ones back. This one I did 100% completion on. I got really high achievements for this as well. Went after every collectible, did every little side thing you could possibly do. This is a wonderful series and a wonderful game, and for those that think I don't play as a female protagonist, you're wrong, because I do, but only this, just the Tomb Raider, because it was the original one that tried to do something different. They didn't want to look like they were copying Indiana Jones, so okay, we'll have a woman do it, and she'll be going through tombs and platforming, and it's been an endearing series that I've loved since the PlayStation 1 days. So and this 2013, my Crystal Dynamics was incredible. I really love this game so much. One of my best games. This was like a tie between this and GTA 5 in 2013. They both were my games of the year. I really couldn't really define which one I like more. Another one that I used to have and mistakenly got rid of was Metro 2033. Now this is not the best version of it. It's better to play it on the PC. It's very choppy. The frame rate takes some serious hits on the Xbox 360, but it's still nice to have it for the Xbox 360. So thank you, Steve, for this. This is a real surprise. I didn't know he was going to get me this. I really appreciate this, Steve. I never should have got rid of this. I had this and Last Light for the 360. I mistakenly got rid of both of them. He also got me Saints Row the Third for the Xbox 360. So now I've got all three for the 360, and then I just recently bought the remastered one as well for the PlayStation 4. And he got me King of Route 66 Racing. Now Kyle, my friend, which I just showed his video games a little while ago, he had sent me a copy of this as well. So now I've got two copies of this, but this is a really cool game. It's not very easy to find this anymore. It's kind of getting hard to find this. I like it has kind of the chrome, almost like the chrome mud flaps you'd see on trucks with a chrome check on the silhouette on the mud flaps. But it's a really fun, kind of a comedic arcade type, game with trucking, and very cool. Awesome to have this in my collection. Thank you, Steve, for this. Another one that I've always wanted to try, kind of like the Too Human, strange game I didn't know too much about, but I love the sci-fi dynamics of this. This has been on my list for a long time. I used to see this when I used to go to my Dimples, and now I never see anymore, so he gave me a copy of Advent Rising for the original Xbox. Looks like a really good sci-fi game. This has gotten pretty good reviews overall. I'm anxious to play this. This is one I want to try to play and get back into my original Xbox gaming more. So thank you, Steve, for those. Those are awesome, awesome gifts. Let me see if I can kind of set these aside over here now. Now, I kind of tried to show most of the games first, but there's some strategy guides that I got as well. I did show the one for my friend Vinny on the Cyberpunk 2077. Now, what's interesting is that this is a guide I really badly wanted. and my friend Kyle found me the guide, and my friend Justin at the same time. Within the same week, I got both of them in the mail, and I'm like torn now. So I've got 2 of these guides. One of these, my friend Jeremy has been looking for as well, so I sent him the other one. So, which is a nice gift. He's something that at least someone could benefit from one of these guides. So thank you both, Justin and Kyle, and that's for PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy. This is a game that I showed recently in one of my community posts, and I've got the original Xbox version of this, and it looks like a really cool game. Awesome graphics, really good gore. You can use your mind to lift things and leverage yourself, and do spontaneous combustion with your enemies, or lift them and hurl them off a scaffold or something. A lot of cool things that you can do with your mind, turning their gun on themselves or on other enemies. So this is a guide that's really cool for a really good game. So thank you both, Kyle and Justin, for this. I really appreciate this. This is one of my favorite guides right now. I'm really happy. I've already enjoyed going through the whole thing. Just reading. I just love reading these guides. They're just really fascinating maps and techniques and strategies and how to get through the levels. Getting on with Kyle had found me a lot of these guides. They're all quite welcome. He kind of knows my taste in games, and I never even thought that there was a guide for this, but I'm happy to have it. Ridge Racer 5, which I do have in my collection. A very cool, racing game guides are unusual. You're kind of a strange hybrid. You really don't see them that often. And I'll show you some I found recently that are something to correlate with some of my favorite racing games. He knows I like the Lord of the Rings series. He found me the guide for the Two Towers. A great game, a wonderful Lord of the Rings game for the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox. I've got the original Xbox version of that. Here's a guide for Tomb Raider Chronicles. This is another game. I think I might have this game in my PlayStation 1 collection. I'm not sure, but I need to get this one for my collection if I don't have it. Tomb Raider Chronicles, one of the 5 games for the PlayStation 1. Very cool. And in the keeping with that, he got me the guide for Tomb Raider 2, which is awesome. So now I'm missing, I think, Tomb Raider 1 and 3 guides I'm going to try to go after, just because I love these games so much on the PlayStation 1. I never had a guide when I went through them back at the time, so it'd be kind of neat to see. Probably to find, do 100% completion, just better overviews of the maps and the worlds that you're going through. Here's another highly unusual one, not the greatest game. This game is radically superior on the Xbox 360. The PlayStation 3 version is almost unplayable. The frame rate is so god-awful. But anyway, I got the guide for Need for Speed Undercover. Very unusual game. I actually like this game a lot. Really good graphics. The world is kind of lifeless that you drive through, like a lot of Need for Speed games, but I like the amber kind of lighting and everything, and there's some really cool cars in this game. Thank you, Kyle. All of these guides and the games you've sent in are very much appreciated. I really do appreciate it very much. You got some real winners here. I wasn't expecting some of these racing guides, but they're very, very cool. You rarely ever see racing guides anymore. And then I had my friend Jeremy find me some games. He found me some games. Did I show his games? I think I did. No, I didn't. Actually, wait a minute. Here they are. Let me set these over here for a bit. Yeah, I'll show the games first. Jeremy, he found me 2 games I wanted that he bought for me. I said, oh, can you find this, bud, and find this, and this guide and that, and he found them. And then he sent some things of his own in, because he's going through his collection and streamlining it quite a bit as well. So I found some really nice gifts from him as well. But 2 of the games that I wanted was I wanted the 360 version, because I have the PS3. I had pre-ordered the PlayStation 3 version, and I even have the hardbound strategy guide for it as well. And that's Arkham Origins, which is my favorite of the 3 games. Even though the Rocksteady ones are wonderful, very immersive games, I really like the origin story of Batman and the characters in this. This one's one of my favorites, still to this day. And I need to finish the first Arkham Asylum. I've gone through that a couple times and enjoyed it. I never finished it. and I've never played City, so thank you very much, Jeremy, for helping me to get this for my collection. This is awesome. And he also helped me to find, I just showed the BioShock Infinite back in my collection. This I used to have, and then I stupidly get rid of it. He found me the special 2-game edition, BioShock 1 and 2. Comes in one nice package. He found me a real clean copy of that for my collection. Thank you, Jeremy, for hooking me up with this. And then these were games that I wasn't expecting. He sent me, he said, Dean, I sent you a few things I thought you might like. He knows I love the Cool Borders series for the PlayStation 1. So he sent me Cool Borders 4. I think there's Cool Borders 3 at my game store. I need to go back. I just saw it the other day. I need to go back and pick that one up if it's still there. I want to get all of the Cool Borders games. I think I've got 1 or 2 of them so far, I believe. He sent me this Castrol Honda Superbike racing game for the PlayStation 1, which looks really good. I love motorcycle racing, dirt or street, and these are really fun games. And it really shows the evolution of the games, starting with the PlayStation 1, consoles like it all the way through up to the ones we've got today. And another one called Motor Racer World Tour. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for these. You obviously know what I like. A game that he had, he's been playing and really enjoyed and talked about in his series of games that he plays. He actually plays his big collection. Some people don't, but Jeremy does. This is one he really liked. I didn't think I would like this, but I liked a lot of the gameplay that he showed, and I like some of the reviews I've seen of it since then. From Carrot at ACG did a good review of this as well. And that's a Biomutant game for the PlayStation 4. Jeremy, thank you very much for this. This is something it looks very cool. I like the giant open world. I like the strange, anamorphic type characters, animal characters, and how they can talk, and it's very cool. A game that he also had showed recently that I had never heard about, but it looks fantastic. Kind of a AA studio game, but still quite cool. And that's Airborne Troops Countdown to D-Day for the PlayStation 2. Stealth, intelligence, courage, and deadly aim win the game. Historically authentic weapons, uniforms, locations, and situations. Drawing your skill with knives, pistols, rifles, machine guns, and even Panzerschrecks to dispatch your enemies. Well, I'm all about that. Anything with World War II. My grandfather had proudly served for 5 years in the Solomon Islands in World War II and took a knife to the stomach, got a Purple Heart, and came home to his family. If he hadn't come home, I wouldn't be here doing this video right now. So my hat's off to all the veterans from whatever ways that you've served, whether you've actually been in warfare or not. I really appreciate the freedom that you provide Americans like myself. Because of your sacrifice, we live in a wonderful, free country. Thank God that we do. For as long as it's going to be free, we'll see. Dark Summit on the original Xbox is strange skiing, snowboarding game with like dark kind of environments and a strange story behind it. It looks very cool. He knows I love snowboarding games, and so this looks very cool for my collection. Thank you, Jeremy, for this. He got me a copy of Too Human, which I've seen. I've had a chance to buy this so many times. In fact, last night I just sat, for whatever reason, and watched like 4 or 5 reviews of this, just because I was curious to see what it was all about. It looks like they had spent a decade trying to create this game, and it kept, kind of like Duke Nukem Forever. They were going to do it on the PlayStation 1 on 4 disc, and then they were going to do it on the GameCube, and it just kept moving and morphing. Then, hey, no, we'll do it with Microsoft and the latest console, the Xbox 360, which is what it came out on, but it got kind of middling reviews, unfortunately. It does some things very well, and some other things that are somewhat clunky and kind of strange, choices that the devs made with it. But it looks cool, kind of a Norse mysticism, I guess mythology, but with a sci-fi bent to it. Very strange, but it looks very good. And then his latest thing he got me for my birthday, which I already had the game, but he found me a nice Steelbook version of Gears of War 2 in the Steelbook. So now I got Gears 1 in the Steelbook, 2, and I believe I just need to find 3, or maybe it's 3 I have, and I've got to find 1. It's one of them I'm missing. Now that way I'll have all the Gears 1, 2, and 3 in Steelbook. Great, and I also have all the guides for these as well. I've really been enjoying the Gears 1 remastered on the Xbox One X. It just looks fantastic. It's a great game. I'm sure it plays fantastic on the Series X as well. Anyway, Jeremy, thank you very much for those. I really appreciate it, bud. You've always surprised me with games that you know that I would like, and he recommends games that I'd like. He sent me a recommendation for one last night that you can get for $1 or something on the Xbox Marketplace store. So thanks, Jeremy, for that one. I'm going to do some research on that and check that out. So I believe that's it for that. And then he sent me some guides that I had requested from him. I got piles of stuff here, so bear with me. I gotta move things around. Yes, here are the guides. These are ones that I had wanted that he found me. I've wanted for the longest time. This is a great game. I don't care what anybody says, least of all Angry Joe. Terminator Salvation. A wonderful Terminator game. It really is good. I've been wanting, I got stuck in one part of it. I mean, I could push through and beat the game. I've got quite a ways through this. But I wanted the guide, so I actually stopped playing it until he found me the guide. So now I can resume this on my 360. Thank you, Jeremy, for hooking me up with this. These are ones I paid for. He put together a package with a couple games and several guides, and to kind of wrap up the bulk of what I was going after. The other one that I was missing was the original Sniper Elite guide. Sadly, they didn't have one for V2 or any of the other Sniper Elite, 3, 4, and 5. There's no physical guide, but at least there's one for the first game. This is actually quite tough. I think that the newer games are easier than the first one on the original Xbox. So having the guide will certainly help in that respect. Now these last two, unfortunately, when I moved here, we lost a few boxes. My wife lost a box of dishes and pans and things that were some of her favorite cookware that we don't know what happened to them. They get lost. Move our stuff. And they put it into storage until we could find a house, and they moved it out of storage from a different moving company. So naturally, it's a recipe for disaster. I lost a lot of gaming posters that were destroyed. Beautiful, my Wolfenstein 2 huge double-sided display gone. One of my big Mad Max posters destroyed. Call of Duty, what's it called? I can't remember. I don't know. The first Black Ops poster, which is very rare now, gone, destroyed. Original Mad Max poster for the movie, destroyed. Quite a few movie posters gone, but I'm missing a box of hardbound strategy guides. And I don't even, because my memory is gone, I don't even know all the guides that are missing, but several big hardbound guides are missing. And one of them that I know I had it, because I talked to Jeremy about it at the time. And so he found me another copy of it, was the Tomb Raider, the hardbound Tomb Raider guide for Shadows of the Tomb Raider, which I had, and it's gone. I've gone through every remaining box of books I have numerous times. I've combed through every corner of this house and closet, and I cannot find it, and a lot of other big guides, which I'm devastated. One of them was a nice gift from someone too, hardbound. So I'm going to have to buy all of those guides again. If I can remember, I know 3 of them, but the other couple, I'm not sure. What happened is I boxed them all up, and I just didn't have I needed a box for a few more guides, and I threw them in with a box of magazines or other random books, and now I can't find the box. So I'm missing all of either the magazines and books, as well as all the hardbound guides, sadly. One I should have bought at launch, realizing that this guide would be expensive. This guide is $100, $150, $200 now, to where I couldn't afford it. I wanted the Red Dead Redemption 2 guide. He found it for like 42 bucks. Found me a copy of this for $42. I said, dude, jump on it for that, for 42 bucks in super clean condition, very cheap. So I'm thrilled to have this back in my collection. Not back in my collection, but to have it in my collection. I already have the guide for Red Dead Redemption 1, which I pre-ordered with the game for the 360. Now this is a new guide, these are hard to find. These are from mom and pop developers, and this is the guide for the new Far Cry 6 that my good friend Justin sent me. And it's a good guide. There's actually a couple different ones that are like written. It's like on newsprint paper. It's in black and white. It's not in color, but it's a complete guide. And this one was rated as the best for Far Cry 6. So I had my wife order me this off, Amazon for Far Cry 6. I've been enjoying Just Cause 3 quite a bit. I got quite a ways into it, and really was doing well with it. I'm having a lot of fun with it, from Avalanche, who the same year came out with the Mad Max game. But I needed a guide because it's just kind of hard to know what direction to go. There's certain missions you're not quite sure what to do and challenges, so this really straightens it all out. So now I've got the guide for Just Cause 3 in the collection, which I'm thrilled to have. Another sip of soda here. I'm really just parched. I'm still sick, congested a little bit. I'm on cold medicine now, but I'm feeling much better. I had a high fever last Saturday. I somehow worked all last week, very sick. Friday, I asked to leave a couple hours early. I finished everything to where there was really everything was on autopilot. I said, could I just leave early? I don't feel well. I painted all the buildings done. I got some guys who are going to, finish detailing the last couple buildings out. So, and they said, "Oh no, Dean, please go home. I shouldn't be here sick anyway." And they felt bad that I've been out working in the weather that's like in the 20s and 30 degrees, freezing my ass off, and breathing in all that cold air doesn't help my bronchitis or my pneumonia or whatever I got going on here. Now these are guides that I just recently found at my local VIP game store, which I showed in my last video, going there to pick up a game. So I found and these are all relatively cheap, a guide for Crisis 3. Now I need to get the Crisis 1 and 2 guides, but this was like dirt cheap, like $5 or something, so I had to jump on that. This is a game that I got as a gift, and I'm thrilled to have this guide. I remember when the guide was new, and that's the Order 1886. This was dirt cheap. So I got a good copy of that. The first Killzone guide was the one that I'm missing. I think I have the guide, I believe I have for Killzone 2 and 3, but I just was missing this one. So now I've got this. I have the PlayStation 2 version of the game, and I've got the one in the trilogy for the PlayStation 3. Assassin's Creed Rogue, I might have showed this in a prior video, but just to show it with all the guides I've gotten recently, I had my wife order this off eBay or something. We don't have PayPal anymore. PayPal is also canceling people that they don't agree with, and they're charging them things and where they can't, even fight it. And so my wife says, no, I'm done with PayPal. So now we're boycotting PayPal. So my days of probably ordering on eBay are over. I can order on Venmo at least, and a couple other options, but it is what it is. I'll get the games or strategy guides on Amazon instead of eBay. It is what it is. Spy Hunter, Nowhere to Run. I've recently just got this guide. Not something I was going out of my way to look for, but it was dirt cheap, and I just said it looked like a cool guide, and it's an interesting game. There's a guy doing a playthrough of this right now on YouTube, which looks good, so I thought I'd get it. This is one that I'm thrilled to have in my collection. I need to get the guide for the second one in the series, but the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for the N64. This is an actual Nintendo guide, but I could use this for the remastered version that I have digitally from the PlayStation 4. Then they have a guide also I need to get for Racer's Revenge for the PlayStation 2. And I have that for the PlayStation 4 too. So this I had him hold it for me, and I jumped all over this. I was thrilled to have that for my collection. This is a guide that was very expensive. It was $35. Then they lowered the price to $29.99. And I looked online, and it used to be rare where you never saw it for sale on eBay. So it's like they knew they had something rare and you wanted top dollar. It's been in my game store for over 2 years now. I went in the other day and I said, look, there's a couple copies on eBay. They're a lot cheaper, like half of what you're offering for close to $30 right now. I said, what could you give me? I never have asked for a deal. I usually just gladly pay him because I want him to stay in business. He has to make a profit naturally. It's not all about me and how grinding him down. And he said, Dean, because you've never abused it, you've only one time asked me. I bought like $130 worth of strategy guides, and I said, could you give me a break and buses I'm buying so much? And so he took like 10% off a long time ago. I said, I really would like this guide, and I'd rather give you the money, even if it's more money than the guys on eBay, to have it with you. So he brought the price down to $20. He took basically a third off the price, from 30 to 20. And that's Test Drive Unlimited. This is a very cool guide, very rare. You never see this. It's got maps of, the Hawaiian Islands and all of the side quests, all the cars, and level, how you can level them up, where all the homes are, the safe houses, all that stuff. So this is a very cool guide. I'm thrilled to have this. I'm glad I didn't have to pay 35 bucks for it, and I got it for 20 at least. And then the guide to end all guides, a huge holy grail. I did like a double take, like, oh my God. And it was cheap too, 15 bucks. And that's Duke Nukem 0 Hour for the N64. Now I've got the game for the N64 and I finally have the guide. I've been waiting to get this guide. My friend Michael, who sent all those limited run Star Wars games, he's holding for me one of those, I can't remember the name of it. It's the highest quality HDMI upscaler that you can get, so you can play the older game systems on the newer TVs, and they look great. Metal Jesus has showed a video on it. I forget what it's called, but he's holding me for 300 bucks for what he paid for it. And it was made by the guy that's in the Ukraine. Right now, there's like people have been waiting for like over a year to get theirs, and now because of the war in the Ukraine, they're going to have to wait longer. So he's holding me one, and then I'll be able to play this game and PlayStation 1 games and other older systems, Sega Genesis and Super NES games, on N64 games on my modern TVs, which is awesome. So I'm thrilled to have this in my collection. My good friend Silverwings21 has an entire playthrough of this, which I've pledged to watch. Dude, I've got to watch your playthrough of it. I know you've had it on your channel for the longest time. I'm going to make the time to sit down and go through it because I just want to see the game so bad. It's just very much akin to Duke Nukem Time to Kill, a third-person variation of the Duke Nukem. And I like the third-person ones, believe it or not, even better than the first-person ones that this series is known for. So thrilled to have this. Unlock all secrets, collect all items, discover all weapons, kill all aliens, and save all babes. Don't just play the game, master it. You're damn right. Damn right. So that's it for the guides. And now I'm going to show the remainder of pickups games I've got here. Starting with, I just the other day, picked up a copy of Quake 4. Now, I already had Quake 4, but this is the remastered one around 2012 or 13. It was a GameStop exclusive. Look for this sticker. These are very hard to find. This is a better performing, with a much better frame rate. It's all on the disc. So whatever patches they have, they fix it on this disc. It also comes with a Quake 4 poster, which I've got framed out in my game room. So I bought, and when you say, well, why would you buy the older shit frame rate one? Because this comes with another disc that has Quake 2 that came free with it. I didn't know that. So I've had this for years and thrilled to play it. I've enjoyed playing Quake 4, but I didn't know. So you get Quake 2 remastered for the 360, which you can play offline. Even though I do have it on the, PlayStation 4, I believe. So I'm thrilled to have these in the collection, kind of a variant deal, but I'm not big on usually collecting variants, but it's nice to have it. Metro Last Light, Steve gave me Metro 2033. I got this, I pre-ordered this, got this back in my collection. I think I might have a strategy guide for this, I'm not sure, but although there isn't a guide for 2033, but I believe there is for this. So, and I got the remastered variations of both games, for the Redux for the PlayStation 4. I just showed this in my last video, Risen 2. This is a special edition version, probably with a DLC or whatever. Really nice manual and map and everything inside. Very cool. This is one of the big game I've been looking for a couple of years. I used to see it everywhere, and the other day just went in and like, oh my God, it's there, and I jumped on it, fully complete with with a manual, and that's MX versus ATV Reflex. This is still to this day. People that have YouTube channels built around dirt bike games still say this is one of the best games that MX versus ATV has ever made. They still go back and play this variation of it. There's some DLC that I need to buy soon for this before Microsoft removes it from the Xbox Marketplace. And I got this one PlayStation 2 game because I'd never heard of it, and I love helicopter military games. It's called Thunderstrike Operation Phoenix. I could barely read the Operation Phoenix on there. But it looks like a good helicopter, kind of like Gunship, which I used to play in my C64, so I'm thrilled to have that. And then I've got this was a special limited run. I think Metal Jesus showed this recently in one of his videos. It comes in a beautiful like a velvet case, really nice. This is a nice quality limited run game. Again, I had pre-ordered this for many months ago, and the new remastered Blade Runner game, which still I haven't heard. At some point I prepaid for it. That game will come out. My friend Jeremy's prepaid for it. Jeremy's not going to buy any more of their games either. So I'm not the only one. There's other people that actually stand for something. Like I've said many times, a man that won't stand for something will fall for anything. So it's important to have convictions about what you'll stand behind and supporting the things that mean a lot to you in life, and also boycotting the things that are hurting our society and hurting our hobbies and things that we like what's happening with limited run, which is just unconscionable. Anyway, it's a really cool physical copy. I bought the digital copy at once to play with my granddaughter. She was scared of it. The intense music and the little, parasite things freaked her out. She literally ran out of the room. I go, well, I guess I have to shut this off. So I wanted to wait till I got because I was going to wait until I got this and just play this version. But anyway, it's on the disc. If it matters, who knows? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Comes with this kind of a nice little chrome, puffy, 3D looking patch thing. I guess it's a patch you sew on some. And it comes with these really nice little cards, kind of like rare historic relics, like from Mad Max, kind of like old worn out postcards showing shots from the game, the robots and what have you. Very cool, really nice, nicely done, nice cardstock, and some cat food premium codes for cat merchandise and shit like that. I don't know. I'll have to check all that out. And it came with a really nice poster, which I'll have to show a little B-roll of it here. I've got it laid out flat, trying to get the folds out of it. But I'm going to frame this poster because I love the poster very much. It's got to go out in the game room of love, and it will. So anyway, this is a Stray game. It's unfortunate it came from a compromised company, but I'm happy to have it for what it is. When I ordered it, the company I thought was a good company, so at the time I thought it was well worth having. So I'm glad that I have it at the end of the day, but it's just tainted now. Risen, which I just showed in my last pickups video, anxious to play this. Piranha Bytes made this. It made the Elix 1 and 2, which I discovered you can get for the PlayStation 4 as well as PC. So I'm going to go after the Elix 1 and 2 games. Elix 2 is an actual continuation from Elix 1. It's the exact same story. You leave where you left off and go right to the next one. And everyone's like, Dino, if you like Risen, and you'll love what they did with Elix. So I'm going to check the Elix more. My friend Jeremy's played the first one. It looks really good, kind of a sci-fi type version of Risen. Saints Row the Third Remastered. I may or may not have showed this, but I got this recently. Doom 3, the VR edition. I got Doom 3. I got a couple of variations of this. And I have another one that has like all the hell thing, something with all the Dooms are all in one package as well. For the PS4, I've got that as well. Evil West. I pre-ordered this as well as my friend Jeremy. He got the Xbox One version. I got the PS4 version. So you got a little DLC that came with it for some extra kind of cool weapons stuff and visual, clothing and stuff like that. But this looks like an outstanding game. I've yet to play this. My friend Jeremy's played it all the way through and really loved it. Very cool, kind of a return to more of an Xbox linear, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 type game, but it looks really good. Modern Warfare. I had bought this the day it came out. I've yet to play this. I need to play this one and finish Cold War. But I did pre-order the Modern Warfare 2, the new one. I have the remastered one as well, in a digital format, which came with a nice steel case, really handsome steel case, and I got some extra guns or shit that came with it, whatever, for pre-ordering it. So I got to play both of the Modern Warfare 1 and 2 games soon. They had a really good sale there. I scored all these brand new, very cheap. Dying Light 2 Staying Human. They just had the 1-year anniversary when this was released just like a week ago. And they've got and Techland has like stayed with it and refined the game. They've offered different new filters. You can play the game with a real gritty filter or more vibrant, color saturated filters. And they've tweaked, the AI and the zombies. Now there's more of them down in the streets and stuff. So looks like a good time to play this now that they've, patched it and fixed a lot of the technical issues they had at launch. Grid Legends, I've had my friend Joe, Joe the Alternative Gamer. He's got really good game reviews, and he raved about this, and I wasn't sure I was going to get it. I didn't know. I do have the Grid reboot, but this looks quite good from what I've seen, and I've started watching a few more reviews, and it does look very good. So I just installed this the other night in my PlayStation 4 Pro. I got Gears Tactics. I've been looking for this for the longest time. I used to see it, and then I stopped seeing it. Finally found a copy of this. I think this one was used, but like in new condition. It looks really good, really, really cool. Kind of like a top-down RTS type game, but with the Gears characters, which really lends himself quite well because the way Gears is kind of like, it's a back and forth combat. You do something and then they do something, and so it kind of lends itself to an RTS type game, which is pretty cool. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I got this brand new. So, and I've recently got, I had the first strategy guide for the first one. And I've got, I believe, a good friend of mine, Steve Tylord, sending me Mass Effect 2 guide, which I'm excited to have, and I'll just need to get the third one. But I've never played the Mass Effect games. I know that's probably not a good thing to admit, but I'm anxious to play them. Now that they're remastered, and they look like they've really kind of improved the first one in particular to bring it more up to speed with the second and third one, so which I think is pretty cool. And then last is the Saints Row game, which I think I showed this many months ago. It's a really nice packaging actually. It's kind of sleeves up. It's a real thick, real well-built, thick cardboard box. And it comes with some postcards, kind of like the limited run game did with some of the characters. Yeah, they're all the different characters you've got. It comes with a little plastic sleeve thing, which I can take off. So you've got the various characters in the game, which are more of a younger generation. It looks interesting, and now that they've got a patch with over 200 fixes for the game, it looks quite good. And I've watched a couple of reviews of people that really enjoyed it. They said, yeah, the story sucks. There's some things about it that aren't as good as the original ones, but it's a fun open world. It's a really fun, vibrant open world. And so I like that. Just one more here if I can get the little sleeve off. And it comes with these other postcards, this Santiago Lizo, postcards from kind of the southwestern, flavor of the game, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, that's what sold me on the game, was that it's in the Southwest. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and Scottsdale, Arizona. I lived out in the high desert for 9 years in California. So I like the Southwestern motif and the really good car customizations. Comes with like a nice art book, really nicely done, nice slick paper with, all of the art and conceptual art and, ideas and things that they took further on the drawing board of the game. And it comes with a really nice poster, it looks like. I didn't even know about this poster. I'll open it up real quick here. So yeah, you get a Saints Row poster. It's double-sided, or you get this really cool dinosaur. So this is a game, now that it's patched, I'm anxious to play this. I mean, I'm right in the, I got 113 hours in a Mad Max, and now I'm capturing a lot of gameplay that correlate with, I'm going to have the ultimate tips and strategies video, because that game has a lot of secrets, and a lot of people have even 100%ed it and things about the game they don't even know. So I'm anxious to share those things, because I have a lot of experience at it, over 400 hours in the game now. So anyway, that's the Saints Row thing, which I bought but never really took the time to show. And it came with a real nice steel book too. So it's a nice package. It's a shame that the game has some issues, with it. The writing is, sad. They're afraid to offend people now, so they got to be careful, and they had to They took out rim jobs, and now they call it job rims, or they changed the words around. So it's lost the comedy. A lot of this woke culture, they do not have a sense of humor, and they have a hard time ingesting humor. They take it too personally, and then they cancel your ass. So God forbid that you have anything that could be controversial or a little out there on the edge, which the series was known for. And when you try to sanitize everything so it fits all sizes, it just falls flat on its face, like the cardboard that it is, which is sad. But anyway, that's enough lecturing on modern gaming and the woke culture. That's pretty much it. That's all the games that I have. I've got a bunch of digital ones that I bought as well. The 13 game, which I used to have, they fixed that. They completely remastered it again. Now it's worth having. I bought the digital version on sale dirt cheap. Far Cry 6 Season Pass, Maneater, Truth Quest DLC. I bought that for the Maneater Shark game there. Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. I bought the digital version of that. Saints Row the third remaster. I bought the digital version of that. Oddworld New and Tasty. Full Throttle Remastered, the old LucasArts game. I got that one. Metal Jesus had raved about it. I thought I'd check it out. Metal Max Xeno, the original one, I bought digitally until I can find a physical one, if I find one. Ion Fury was kind of a Duke Nukem style game, but with a chick, but it looks really good, so I bought that. Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus DLC that comes with the 3 DLC packs. I bought the season pass for it. For the Xbox One, I bought Far Cry Blood Dragon. Or I guess it came digitally with Far Cry 6. There's one called Colette, Kholat. Looks like a really cool, very survival horror-ish in Russia. It looks really interesting. You can research that. It looks great. I downloaded that one, really dirt cheap too. Lifeless Planet, I loved it so much for the PlayStation 4, and I have it digitally for the PS4 Pro, so I got the digital version for the Xbox One or One X. Quantum Break, I bought that one. Sleeping Dogs Remastered with all the DLC. I love that game so much. Now I've got the digitally for the Xbox One X, and I've got the physical version for the PS4 Pro. Titan Quest, they had a sale for the DLC, and Jeremy had given me the Titan Quest game as a gift, so now I've got the 2 expansions for that, dirt cheap. Turok 1 and 2, I just bought Turok 2 the other night, Seeds of Evil. Night Dive Studios, which is working, it's done a lot of games. They've had some problems with Blade Runner, sadly, but they remastered Turok 1 and 2. The only way you can play them is you can play them on PC or you can play them on the Xbox One X or the Series X via the Xbox Marketplace. You can't get it for the PlayStation. So I bought it, even though it's digital. They did a beautiful job on both games. They're 2 old school, fast-paced, lots of weapons, lots of really cool secrets and hidden areas and boss battles, and so I'm all about those, so I had to get it. The last thing I'll mention is just a few things I've been playing with. Sadly, I'll mention we lost Jeff Beck, who's a huge inspiration musically to me. He really was the person that got me into jazz via his jazz fusion, kind of rhythm and blues and jazz fusion music. So Jeff Beck, you'll be missed. This is, I got Jeff Beck Wired. This is such a good CD. Jeff Beck There and Back. I used to have a lot more of his record albums and cassettes, but these are all I have for CDs right now. And then Jeff Beck, The Best of Beck. But Jeff Beck There and Back and Wired, and then Live with Jan Hammer is another one, which I used to have on cassette twice. I need to get the CD of that, but I need to get a lot more Jeff Beck stuff. I'm sure the prices have rocketed up now that the poor fellow's dead, but huge inspiration to me. The other thing which I'll mention is Ken Block passed away, which I wanted to talk about this several weeks ago when he died. In Utah, had a really bad snowmobile accident. At least he was doing what he loved. He lived on the edge. He really, like a cat, had used up all 9 of his lives and then some, But he passed away. Died in a horrible snowmobile accident. Basically, he went up a steep hill in the snowmobile, or his racing snowmobile, and it came back and landed on top of him and killed him. He was trying to go up way too steep of an incline, like jumping, like vertically uphill.
pretty intense dude. He did everything right on the edge. I mean, he really pushed it to the hilt. A great rally driver. He really inspired so many car YouTube channels with the Gymkhana series he did. The week after he wrapped up filming the LA one, where he's down in LA doing that Mustang with 1,600 horsepower, all-wheel drive, I saw the burnouts that were down. We stayed at the Bonaventure, and we saw all the burns. What the hell are these? Someone was having a field day out here. I mean, on the 110 freeway, you could see him burnouts all over the freeways and the on-ramps. Well, he had just done the video. So when I saw the video months later when it came out, I'm like, wow, I was there right after they filmed all that. I found out that it was like within a week of when I was there. Just like when I saw the poor guy that died in the Fast and Furious. I can't remember the poor kid's name. Paul Walker that died. We saw the explosion. We actually saw the black smoke coming from the explosion the morning that he died, that had that accident in that Carrera GT. And I didn't know what it was until I got home that night, and then we saw it on the internet. I'm like, oh my God, we were right there. We went with all the traffic had stopped by the freeway, by Magic Mountain. You could see the burning black smoke just billowing up in the air. Fire trucks everywhere racing down the freeways and under the freeways by Magic Mountain there. Very tragic. But anyway, so Ken Block, you'll be missed, and Jeff Beck too. Two very special people. It's just so sad. We've lost so many good actors and people and celebrities over the years, but some of these people were a real inspiration to me personally. I've been playing Mad Max. I've been playing the Xbox version now. I got 113 hours in this, and I haven't even unlocked the second half of the map. Jeremy, my friend's 100%ed it pretty much, and he's only got 60 hours in it. I don't know. We must be missed some of the stuff I did, or I don't know how I've got so many more hours in it. And I'm pretty much on point. I'm methodically going through and reducing the threat in each region and doing all the stronghold, projects, and I'm doing everything, 100%ing everything. But I'm recording some really good gameplay of it. And man, so I've got some really good stuff where I just lucked out right at the right time. I was filming, some cool things happened, which will come in pretty handy in that ultimate tips and strategies video I'm going to be doing. Just Cause 3, I've been talking about playing that and loving it. Sniper Elite 5, I've got to get back to this. And now that all this extra season pass DLC has come out, it's ripe to be played. So I've got to play this. And I started playing Far Cry 5 and need to get back. I've been kind of focusing on Mad Max, but these are the games that I've been playing. I just thought I'd share those with you real quickly here. So that's pretty much it. That's just a quick rundown on some fantastic gifts. Thank you all for the gifts. And even the people that haven't sent in gifts, the people who have just left kind comments and showing so much support for me personally and my family and this channel. It means the world to me. Thank you very much, all of you guys. Really, without you, there is no escape to gaming. So thank you very much for watching, and enjoy your games and your game collections.